Has it been a pretty successful program?
I've only been at the school for a few years, but I mean, every year we have had participants and winners, so it kind of, I'm not sure on the data as far as how much is used, but I mean, it's something that from what I understand, has been done for a while. So we got kids. In fact, my son won this year for photography, so that was really exciting.
Great. Rebecca, what school are you from, and do you currently have Reflections program?
I'm with Highland Park Elementary in Broken Arrow, and yes, we do.
Yes, you do. You guys usually have a lot of entries.
Yes.
Lori, how about you? Do you currently have Reflections at your school? Okay, we're going to wait just a couple more minutes, see if we can get some more people in.
Hi, this is April. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I think you had called on me earlier and I got disconnected. We do not have Reflections at our school, but we do have it in place for this upcoming year.
Perfect. All right, Blue, you just joined us, and I know that's not your actual name because you had said that in another meeting, but do you currently have Reflections program at your school? Megan, okay, you do not. Great. Well, hopefully after this, you guys will implement it at your school. Not the last few years, Lori, okay. Okay, well, we're gonna go ahead and get started. If you have any questions at any point, go ahead and put it in chat because once I start my slideshow, I'm not gonna be able to see chat, and then I'll come back to the questions at the very end. So let's get started. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Marcy Franks, and I am the Oklahoma State Reflections Chair. I think this is my third year. So we're going to be talking about this upcoming year. So first and foremost, what is Reflections? Reflections is an art contest that supports the arts in our students' lives. And there are 6 categories that we'll be discussing. Dance choreography, literature, photography, music composition, film production, and of course, visual arts. Now, this is not necessarily a contest that you're going to be in charge of implementing in your school, like actually doing the activities in your school. This is something for your kids to do at home in their own free time to work on. Now, I have in the past at my local elementary school talked to the teachers during a staff meeting about implementing something in their class, like in just visual arts or literature. Like the 5th grade students, middle school, high school, give them a daily prompt, which is the theme. I would use the theme of this year's reflection program, use it as a prompt, and then have them all submit that maybe a poetry piece or an essay or something, have them submit it to reflections. Visual arts, a lot of the elementary teachers will do art projects throughout the year. Just have them do one based on the theme that year and have them turn it in. But of course, you know, the dance and photography, music and film, that's something that the kids definitely do need to work on at home. First and foremost, in order to even participate in reflections, your unit must be in good standing. Now, good standing is something that the reflections chair is not really in charge of. That's something that your local, your unit president and treasurer are in charge of, but you may need to, you know, make sure that they are getting their paperwork done on time so that you guys can participate in the program. So in order to be in good standing, you have to turn in all of these things to Oklahoma State by October 31st. Your EIN report, your standing rules for the year, the financial reconciliation report from last year, the list of current officers, your membership report that is already due October 31st, and to pay for the memberships you've sold up until that point, and of course, your last tax form. Another thing to get out of the way right up front, if you're gonna do the work to implement a reflections program at your school, make sure you're getting all that paperwork done, and don't let your students down. Don't let yourself down by doing all the work and in the end having entries be disqualified. We do have to disqualify entries at the Oklahoma level if your unit is not in good standing. If you upload entries past the deadline, and the deadline is December 1st, and if entries are blurry, illegible, where we can't even read or be able to judge them, then they're usually disqualified. A rule that we implemented last year, 1 entry per student per category. Now that means every student can enter every category, but only enter once. So they can't submit like 3 dance entries, but they can go ahead and enter dance and literature and visual art and every single category, but just once. That way everybody has a chance. So let's go over real quick the actual categories. Dance choreography can be a solo or ensemble work, but the entrant must be the choreographer. This cannot be a dance that they learned in dance class. So it's not just how well your kid can dance, it's the actual choreography of the dance. They don't even have to be the performer. As long as they choreograph, it can be somebody else dancing, but the choreographer is the one that actually does the entry. Film production. Any short film, and there is an actual time length that's in the rules, but it can be any kind, like animation, narrative, documentary, a media presentation, but the student must be the screenwriter, the cinematographer, the editor, and the producer. Kids have to do everything. The parents cannot help. Literature, any kind of fiction or nonfiction. It can be poetry, it can be an essay, it can be a play script, short story, and the entrants may write it in their primary language as long as an interpretive English translation is attached. And of course, no copyrighted material can be used. Photography. Photography must be a single print or digital images. It cannot be a collage or collection of photos. If you do get an entry that is a collage-like piece, it needs to be put into the visual arts category. The entrant must be the photographer, and they can use digital editing. Music composition. Any kind of music style, any kind of instrument, but the student must be the composer. So this is not just, something that they play during piano recital. This is something that they actually wrote, composed themselves. And it can be a video or it can be just the audio of the song. But the older kids, the high school level, they actually have to submit the actual notation, the music notation, as well as the actual audio or video. And of course, copyrighted material prohibited. They can't do like a mashup of 3 different, well-known songs that they've put together themselves. It has to be completely the student writing the piece. And of course, visual arts. This is everything else. So fine arts, design arts, including but not limited to architectural drawings and 3D models, ceramics, collages, crafts, drawings, fashion, jewelry, mixed media, painting, sculpture, everything else. A couple of years ago, we had a kid submit a comic book strip on a piece of paper, and they tried to submit it in literature, but because there's artwork with it, it actually needs to be submitted in the visual arts category. So if you do have a comic book strip submitted, that this is where it needs to be here. All right, divisions. So primary division is our pre-K through 2nd graders. Intermediate division, 3rd through 5th grade. Middle school division is 6th through 8th. High school, 9th through 12th. And then there's a special artist division. This is all the different grades and abilities. And this one offers non-artistic accommodations like adaptive technologies, transcribing, holding a camera, but the student must still provide the artist statement, do the choreography, write the lyrics, things like that. This is pretty much for, I would say, the kids who maybe have an IEP on file. So they can either put it in as the special artist division, or they can go ahead and put it in the actual grade division. It's completely up to the student. So if you are an elementary school, you're going to have up to 3, maybe even 4 divisions that you're going to be in charge of. So you'll have pre-K through 2nd, 3rd through 5th. If your elementary school goes through 6th grade, which a few do, then you'll have primary, intermediate, middle, and that special artist category. So keep that in mind. So you have to enroll in the Reflections program every year. And you do that on the National PTA website. Just go to pta.org, go to programs, go to Reflections, and there's a little enroll button. It's a little Survey Monkey form. It's got less than 10 questions just to enroll. And you can actually do that right now. Enrollment is already open. Student form. So every piece needs to have a student form with it. You can print these out, or you actually can send it digitally. They have a editable PDF on the National PTA website, and this is what it looks like. And this student form is filled out by the parents. Again, by the parents. You do not need to be filling this out, except for the very top part. You'll need to put your local PTA name, ID number, your program chair, their email, phone number, contact information. It's even got a place for, make sure that you are in good standing. It's got like your bylaws, approval date, insurance paid. So you would fill out that top part, and then you would make your copies after that, or send it out digitally. Now, we've had people in the past fill this out, like the Reflections chair is filling it out, and they're putting in the wrong email, the wrong phone number to get a hold of the parent. So when it comes time for me to need to get a hold of a parent in regards to a question about an entry, I'm not able to do that. And then if I can't get a hold of anybody, it's disqualified. So make sure that the parents are filling this out. And at the very bottom, you'll see artist statement. The student needs to write down in 10 to 100 words to describe their work and how it relates to the theme of the year. Judging. Once you have all of your entries submitted, you need to find a nonpartisan judge or judges to score your entries. And there's all kinds of information about this in the local leaders guide, again, on the National PTA website. So when we say nonpartisan, not a parent, especially not a parent that has kids submitting things, and really not even the teachers at your school, because They may be a little partisan because they've had the kids in their class. So try to find somebody outside of the school. Like at the state level, when I'm finding judges for art entries, I'm looking for someone even in the realm of that that event. So if I'm looking for a judge for dance choreography, I'm looking for a dance teacher. This year for the film production, I asked the CEO of one of the local film festivals, and they did the judging. So make sure you're finding someone who actually knows something about what they're judging. And of course, celebration. And this right here it can be as little or as much as you want to put into it. So if you go to your PTA board and you're like, hey, I want to do reflections, and they're like, well, I don't think we have the money for it this year. You can make this as little and as inexpensive as you can. Our celebrations don't have to be big. They don't have to be huge. They can be simply a printed certificate given to the kid at school. So just the cost of paper and printing. Now, if you do have more money, you can definitely do medals and trophies. If you want to go all out, you could do an art walk and have like all the art submissions up on the walls of the gym, and have parents walk through and maybe provide cookies and punch and stuff like that. Even contact your local newspaper and see if they'll do an article on the winners from your school. All right, let's talk about the levels. So you're going to have the reflections contest at your school. You're going to judge them, and you're going to have your winners, and you are in charge of presenting awards to the winners at your level. If you are part of a council, you may talk to your council leader to see if they have a level at their council. I know more council, they have their own awards program, so you would submit your winners to your council. Some councils don't. Now, no matter how they place at council, that doesn't matter to state. So all of your winners are also going to be submitted to the state level, and they're going to be judged and awarded at the state level. And then I send our top winners to the national level. And we'll get a little bit more on that later because we've got some national winners this last year. All right, deadlines, timelines. Your local unit deadline needs to be no later than November 6th, preferably sometime in October. Council level, again, if your council even has a level, ask your council leader when they want stuff due to them. For state, you need to upload your top 3 winners to state by Tuesday, December 1st. Tuesday, December 1st. And that's midnight, not 1 a.m. December 2nd. Tuesday, December 1st. And do not wait until December 1st to start uploading your stuff. Give it at least a week, just in case you have problems uploading stuff. All right, so you're going to submit your first place, your second place, and your third place winners from each category and each division, each level, to the state for judging. Again, don't wait for the deadline in case you have problems submitting, problems with technology. If you're waiting until the very last day, chances are you're not going to make it. We will be using a Google form again this year for uploading entries to the state level. And what I think is great is I've made the Google form available also for you. So I've already done all the groundwork. You can go on, make a copy of this Google form for you to use at your local unit level. So you can send the Google form out to all your parents. They can upload a picture of their kid's entry. They can fill out all the information. So a lot easier. You guys don't have to reinvent the wheel. I've done it for you. The Google form is not ready yet. It will be uploaded on the Oklahoma PTA website in October. So be looking for that. The student entry portal, which is going to be our Google form, will be on Oklahoma PTA's website in October. Facebook. If you are not already on, join OKPTA Reflections Chairs on Facebook. I'm adding new stuff all the time, updates, information, and I can answer all your questions as long as you join OKPTA Reflections Chairs. All right, the theme. This coming year's theme is I will change the world by. National PTA makes graphics for us each year. This is one of the graphics. They've got Facebook post graphics, Facebook cover graphics, Instagram graphics, the logo, the Reflections logo graphics, lots of stuff already made for you to use to easily get information out there. Another thing that has already been done for you is awards. Write this down, shoppta.com. If you are not familiar, you go to shoppta.com, click on your state, Oklahoma, and then this is what the webpage looks like, and I'm actually going to take you there. Can you see? I'm going to stop and make sure that reshare because sometimes it doesn't switch over. All right, so this is shoppta.com. This is the reflections part of shoppta.com. They have posters you can purchase. They have yard signs. They have certificates. Now, some of these look like they still have the old theme, but they're working on updating it to the new themes. They even have ribbons and trophies. So let's go in here and I'll show you how cheap these things are. $1 for the ribbons. I mean, again, you can make this as cheap or as expensive of a program as you want. You can order, 5 excellence ribbons, 2 award of merits. You don't even have to do a whole package. Just order exactly what you need. The medals and the trophies actually have the theme for the year. Again, they haven't updated it yet, but they will. So like they've done a lot of the work for you. They even have little artwork placards if you are going to do an art walk where you can have the kid's name and their age and what grade they're in or something. So again, it can be as cheap or as expensive as you want, and a lot of the work has already been done for you. Go back. All right, ways to reach me if you have questions throughout the year. Again, the Facebook page is OKPTA Reflections Chairs. My email is reflections@okpta.org. I haven't updated the theme for the year, but here in a couple months, you'll be able to find information at okpta.org/reflections. Now, National PTA already has everything up on their website. So go to pta.org, go to programs, go to reflections. They have all the printouts you need, all the local leader guide, all the little logos, everything's ready to go. So you guys can get started over the summer. Okay. I know that was a lot of information in a kind of a short period of time. So let's go ahead and open up any questions. No questions?
I'm not gonna lie, I think this is the most thorough session I've been to.
Can you remind me of the deadline dates again? I apologize. Had to step away for a second and missed that part.
No, you're fine. The deadline to submit your winners to state is December 1st. So
Okay.
your local deadline should be no later than November 6th because
Okay.
you want time for your judges to be able to judge their stuff, and you want at least a week before that December 1st deadline, a week for you to upload all of your entries to state. Do not wait until
Okay.
December 1st.
Okay. Okay, got it.
So, I mean, that's pretty quick. You need to be really talking about this even during the summer while the kids are at home. They can be working on these projects all summer long. You don't have to wait until back to school. But when school is in session, get that information out there first thing. Get it out there in August so that there is time for kids to work on stuff.
Okay. Awesome. Thank
I
you.
have one. Sorry.
Yeah.
I have one question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. We have a person, a reflections chair assigned for this year. And aside from, our local unit level and deadline to council and state, I think you mentioned that you're going to take it from there to go to the national level. I'm just trying to figure out a timeline of how much time they would need throughout the year, or is it only beginning of the year?
So after December 1st, you guys don't have to worry about anything other than an award celebration. You don't even have to have your award celebration before December 1st. As long as you know who your winners are and get them submitted to state, you can have your award celebration in May if you wanted to. And then once I get everything in as of December 1st, then I submit everything to my judges at my state level, get everything judged over the winter, and then I turn it into national. I believe their due date is in March. So I need to give plenty of time to my judges, because at your level, your judges may only be judging 3 to 10 entries. My judges at the state level may be judging 50 to 150 entries. So my judges need a lot more time to judge entries. And then I need time to submit all of my first place winners, because you're going to send me first, second, and third place winners. And then I send just first place winners to national. But even for just first place winners, that's per category, per division. I'm sending up to 90 winners to the national level. And this year at state, we have 66 winners, and that kind of changes every year because sometimes we don't have any entries in a division or a category. Keep that in mind. I'm going to say that again. Sometimes we don't have a single entry into a certain category division. Let's say high school music composition. No entries. Especially those special artist categories. Get with your special ed teacher, please. They usually only submit dance and visual art. We rarely ever have a special artist submit anything for literature, film, photography. We never get to award those. So even if just one person submits, they're automatically a winner. They automatically move to national. Make sure your special ed teachers know about this. Our little kids, our elementary grade, that pre-K to second grade primary, they rarely ever submit literature. Have them write a haiku. Seriously. There are categories that we don't even get to award people for. We do end up with ties a lot of the time. By the time the judges do all their scoring, we may have a tie, so both of them get awarded something. And then if we feel like the numbers were so close between, let's say, third place and fourth place, we'll do honorable mentions, and we may do 1 honorable mention. We may do 5 honorable mentions. It just depends on how many entries we get and how close those scores are. Because if they're just 1 point away, we're going to give out a bunch of honorable mentions. What else? So I was saying we have 66 awards this year at the Oklahoma level. And Oklahoma almost always, pretty much always, has winners at the national level. This last year we had 7. We had 7 Oklahoma students win at the national level. Any other questions? One of the other things is, in the past years, students would actually have to submit their physical art project, and you would have, buckets and buckets and tubs of actual physical artwork pieces. Obviously, your music composition and like your dance would be on a file almost always. But as of really last year and even the year before that, everything has gone more digital. So you don't even have to touch any of this artwork. Have your parents take pictures or scan and copy and upload digital files. And this is great for your judges, especially because we used to have to like lay things out on tables. Judges would have to come in at a certain day and time and judge everything within a short amount of time. Now you can send the Google spreadsheet to your judges and they can work on it over a 2-week period, a 3-week period. So that way, most judges will be like, oh yeah, if I have 3 weeks to do it, then yeah, I can definitely do that. Whereas you say, oh, well, I need you here on this day, these 2 hours, it may be a little harder to find judges. So everything is digital now, which is great.
I do have another question.
Yes.
Is there like a handout or anything like that to tell the judges how to judge, or guidelines or anything like that?
There is. So national, go to pta.org, programs, reflections. You're going to look for the local leaders guide. I want to say it's like 18 pages long. But in it is judges' instructions, and it even has like how many points to award for. Let me see if I remember this right. Well, here, let's just go there. All right, so pta.org, programs, reflections. Here's your register enroll button. Remember, you got to do that. Here's a little video from last, I think it was 2 years ago. We had the 50th reflections celebration. Learn more button. So if you go to start your program, here's your fillable student entry form in English and in Spanish, flyers in English and Spanish, student certificate already made for you, even a thank you letter to send to volunteers. There's a local leader e-learning course. I'm not sure if that is up and running yet. Reflections at home activities. Here's printable posters where you can actually put in your local deadline and for details, contact information and print it out. Logos, social media images. You guys can post these videos to your Facebook pages. And you'll notice that National has a student entry portal. Do not submit here. This is for me to submit. We had one school submit here instead of submitting to state, and so all their entries didn't get judged and were disqualified. I want to say, where is that? Local Leaders Guide. Yeah, right here, Local Leaders Guide. How to get started, how to promote your program, how to coordinate the review of submissions, how to celebrate and how to wrap up. There's a judge's packet further down.